The emergency room doors burst open just after sunset as I pushed my best friend, Emma, through them in a wheelchair. Her face had turned pale, and every breath looked like a battle she wasn't sure she could win. Only 30 minutes earlier, we'd been laughing over coffee, arguing about which movie to watch that weekend. Now her hands trembled as she clutched my sleeve. "Please don't leave," she whispered. "I'm not going anywhere," I promised, squeezing her hand before the nurses hurried her behind the treatment doors. If stories about loyalty, friendship, and unexpected life-changing moments inspire you, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Sometimes one act of kindness changes more than one life. The waiting room felt colder than it should have. The bright fluorescent lights buzzed overhead while families whispered prayers and doctors rushed through the halls. Every minute stretched into an hour. Emma had been my best friend for nearly 15 years. We met on our first day of high school after I accidentally spilled orange juice all over her notebook. Instead of getting angry, she laughed so hard that I started laughing too. From that ridiculous moment, we became inseparable. Life had tested us differently. My parents died when I was 22, leaving me to raise my younger brother. Emma stood beside me through every funeral, every unpaid bill, every sleepless night. Years later, when her fiancé left just 3 months before their wedding, I returned the favor. We never kept score. That's what real friendship looked like. An hour later, a nurse approached me. "Are you Daniel?" I nodded. "Your friend is asking for you." Relief washed over me as I followed her into a quiet hospital room. Emma looked exhausted, but she managed a weak smile. "You came. I told you I would." She reached toward the bedside table where several admission forms rested beside a pen. "The nurse said I need to finish these." I helped lift the clipboard onto her lap. Her hands shook so badly she could barely write. "I can't see clearly," she murmured. "I'll help." She slowly filled in her address, birthday, and medical history. Then she stopped at one blank section. "Emergency contact." Without hesitating for even a second, she wrote one name. Daniel Carter. My name. She added my phone number perfectly from memory. The nurse collected the paperwork before I could say anything. "You know your family might need to be listed too," I said softly. Emma looked at me with tired eyes. "You are my family." The words landed harder than I expected. I tried to joke. "What about your cousins?" "They haven't called in 3 years." "Your uncle?" "He lives overseas." "And your brother?" A painful silence answered that question. "We haven't spoken since Mom died." She smiled sadly. "The person who's always shown up is you." I looked away, pretending to study the heart monitor because my eyes had suddenly become blurry. Nobody had ever called me family before. Not since losing my parents. Late that evening, the doctor entered the room with encouraging news. "It appears your friend suffered a severe allergic reaction that affected her breathing. The medication is working, and we expect a full recovery." The tight knot in my chest finally loosened. After the doctor left, Emma laughed weakly. "I really know how to ruin movie night. You definitely owe me popcorn." She smiled. "Deal." The next morning, while Emma rested, a hospital administrator approached me in the hallway. "Mr. Carter?" "Yes?" "We noticed you're listed as Ms. Harper's emergency contact. We need authorization regarding her treatment plan if additional decisions become necessary." I blinked. "Me?" "Yes." For the first time, I realized what writing my name truly meant. She trusted me with the biggest decisions of her life. Not because of paperwork. Because of years spent earning that trust. When Emma was discharged 2 days later, I drove her home. The ride was unusually quiet. As we reached her apartment, she didn't get out immediately. "Can I tell you something?" "Always." "I never thanked you." "You don't have to." "I do." She looked out the windshield before continuing. "When everyone else slowly disappeared from my life, you stayed." Birthdays. Holidays. Bad days. Good days. Every single time. She smiled through tears. Yesterday, when they handed me those forms, I realized there wasn't even a decision to make. You've always been my first call. I couldn't find the right words. Finally, I said, you would have done the same. I would. She laughed quietly. But you know something? What? Most people spend their lives looking for family. She turned toward me. I was lucky enough to choose mine. Months passed after that frightening hospital visit. Life slowly returned to normal. We watched the movie we'd missed. Argued over pizza toppings. Celebrated birthdays. Complained about work. Nothing looked different on the outside. Yet everything had changed inside me. One rainy afternoon, I opened my mailbox and found a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten card. It simply read, "Thank you for proving that family isn't always the people you're born with. Sometimes it's the person who refuses to let go of your hand when life becomes terrifying. Thank you for being mine." Tucked beneath the card was a duplicate copy of her updated emergency contact form. Again, only one name appeared. Mine. I smiled as rain tapped softly against the window. People often believe life's greatest relationships are built through dramatic moments. But the strongest bonds are usually formed through countless ordinary days, showing up, keeping promises, answering late-night phone calls, and never walking away when someone needs you most. The hospital visit hadn't created our friendship. It simply revealed what had been true all along. We weren't connected by blood. We were connected by choice. And sometimes, the family you choose becomes the greatest blessing you'll ever receive. If this story touched your heart, leave a comment sharing someone who has been like family to you even without sharing your last name. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because stories of kindness remind us that the people who change our lives are often the ones who simply choose to stay.